Okay, welcome, dear all candidates. Is voice or video is clear? Is my voice or video is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, welcome all of you. So now today our session, we are going to discuss on the budget, especially decoding budget and economic survey. This class is too much helpful for you upcoming UPSC, CSC, PT exam and also for mains exam. Okay, so just ready? Our today class is especially based on decoding budget and economic survey. And there are also basic terminology of economic, which were related to budget. What is the meaning of budget? What the main motive of budget? And what the mainly process of budget? Which things are too much helpful for India or different sector for India? Okay. First of all, let me know what is budget and what the main motive of budget. At present, we are discussing about the budget 2020. Sorry. Discuss on budget 2023. Especially budget 2023 and 2024. What is budget? The first question is that what is budget? In a single line, any student, please tell me what is budget? What is budget? This question is also for both online and offline students. What is budget? In a single line. Please tell me, anyone.
The annual financial statement of a fiscal year.
Okay. In a single word, the meaning of budget is, first of all, we learn what the real meaning of budget. The real meaning of budget is when we plan the things which help to decide any person or you, that between the balance between the expenditure and income, especially budget, totally budget is based on your income and plan for well prepared, pre-planned. We also say that pre-planned expenditure. Budget is a perfect example of pre-planned expenditure. Budget will also help you to secure your financial year, to secure your month in a certain level of income or a certain part, just like also low level of income or a high level of income. But budget will help you to provide from where you will help you to decide where will have you to expend money or spend money or not. Which sector are especially priority wise, especially make in top in preference, which sector or not. Those all things are comes under budget. So in a single word, what's the meaning of budget? Budget is a type of planned expenditure which help to survive easily for any individual, for any country in our limited resources, or also we call in our limited income. Okay, clear? So now in our next slide, just see, especially not only for India, also for the world, what the main reason to make budget, what the main reason to make our expenses in a proper discipline. Why? Because there are some common target for world, also for India. Also for India, that's called sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals. And in our current affair class, we already learned that what the main 17 goals of SDG. First one is no poverty. So this one is the main target of government to achieve our first SDG goal, no poverty. Second is zero hunger. Third one is good health and well-being is related to your health sector. Fourth one, quality education, which one is related to your education sector. Fifth one, gender inequality. Sixth one, clean water and sanitation. Seventh, affordable and being clean energy. Eighth, decent work and economic growth. Ninth, innovation, industry and infrastructure. Reduce inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production. And this one is in front of this. Just a minute. Next slide में हम discuss करेंगे. 14 one is life below water, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, and partnership for the goals. Especially those are the 17 goals, not only for global form, also for India, especially for India, because those are the biggest problem in India, especially poverty. Government already accept that approximate 61 CR of people which are comes under poverty line. Indian government officially accepted that sentence that approximate 61 CR of people are comes under poverty line. Or we know very well what the rank of India in World Hunger Index, more than 100 rank. You know very well what the rank of India in World Hunger Index. You know very well what the condition of health facility in terms of COVID-19 duration, what the quality, what the education problem in India, especially in rural sector, what the gender major issue in India, gender inequality, and the perfect example of gender inequality. There are also the main problem example dowry case. Dowry case, especially the main problem which comes or related to the gender equality. Clean water and sanitation is also the main problem. Clean water, we are talking about drinking, especially drinking water or sanitation is also the main problem. So those are the main problem. That's why government, this is the main challenge for Indian government to make a comfortable and a perfect budget to fulfill all desire of related 17 goals or the problems which are related to currently in for India. So now in our next slide, let me see what the final Indian economy, especially we are talking about the major sector, especially fiscal deficit, inflation, services, industrial growth, agriculture and foreign exchange reserve. What are the a summary of economic survey, especially which data is provided by Indian government, especially total data is provided by Indian government, PIT, Press India Trust site. So this one is the small snapshot. What the estimate or final fiscal deficit data provided by government in our current year budget. First, we know what is the meaning of fiscal deficit. First one, what is the meaning of fiscal deficit? When the total income of any country, exceeded by total expenditure, it means when total expenditure is more than total income, this condition is called fiscal deficit. Suppose that the total income of any country is 10 rupees and expenditure is 15 rupees, then fiscal deficit of country is 5 rupees. Suppose that the total income of total income of India is 10 rupees and total expenditure is 15 rupees, then the fiscal deficit is 5 rupees. Fiscal deficit show the difference between total income and total expenditure of India. Clear? So let me see what the data of fiscal deficit from 2019 to 2023. In 2019 to 20, especially 2019 to 20, 4.7% fiscal deficit, especially 4.7% fiscal deficit provisional provided by Indian government. And due to COVID cycle, due to COVID duration, lockdown wave, especially lockdown phase 1, phase 2, the fiscal deficit in terms of GDP, 9.2% is increases about 9.2%. which is not so good for any economy, especially for India. This is too much critical condition. But what the main reason? COVID. What the main reason? COVID. So due to COVID, especially lockdown phase 1, phase 2, the fiscal deficit increases from 4.7% in comparison of last year in 2020 and 2021 is 9.2%. So this condition is also create a big challenge for Indian government, especially for finance ministry, to cover the maximum expenditure condition is parallel to income, That's why this is also the major challenge for finance ministry to make an excellent level of budget. So in 2021-2022, as per perfect performance by finance ministry, we decreases the fiscal deficit data from 9.2% to 6.7%. And in 2021-2022, the budget estimated in 2022 and 3 is 6.4%. This 6.4% data is estimated approx December 2022, especially 6.4 last estimation, especially this 6.4, the last estimation provided by finance ministry December 2022. So what the upcoming target to achieve the fiscal deficit limit, and what the ideal limit of fiscal deficit? The ideal limit of fiscal deficit according to Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. Write down, please write down the single line. According to Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, according to Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, the ideal limit of fiscal deficit is maximum 3% of GDP. Maximum 3% of GDP. Maximum 3% of GDP. But according to data provided by Finance Ministry of 2022-2023 is approximate 6.4. I think this is not good for our economy. Okay, 6.4. First of all, be clear what the real meaning of fiscal deficit: when total expenditure exceeded the total revenue. When total expenditure is more than total income, then this condition is related to fiscal deficit. Okay. So suppose that the total income is 10 rupees and expenditure is 15 rupees, then the fiscal deficit is 5 rupees. Okay, then the fiscal deficit is 5 rupees. And then what about the inflation? According to economic survey, what about the inflation? In 2019-2020, the rate of CPI and WPI are the indexes of inflation. The full form of CPI is, write down in short, the full form of CPI is Consumer Price Index and WPI is Wholesale Price Index. Those are the indexes which help to calculate the inflation. In UPSC CSE PT 2017, there is a question related to WPI. The question is multi-statement based, and the multi-statement based, there is a statement. The base year of WPI is 2005, 2008, 2009. The statement is directly indicated. The basement of WPI is 2011. That's the right statement or wrong statement? This one is the right statement. The base year of WPI is 2011. So Consumer Price Index and Wholesale Price Index are the indexes which help to calculate inflation. And inflation, the term inflation is calculated by CSO in India. What the full form of CSO? Central Statistical Office. So according to CSO, first of all, just focus on green line. The Consumer Price Index in 2019 to 2020, 4.8, which is increases 6.2 in 2020 due to effect of COVID. And after 2020-21, in 21 to 2020, this one decreases to 5.5%. And in 2022 and 3, The economic survey report of finance ministry shows that this one increases from 5.5% to 6.8%. 5.5% to 6.8%. Dear candidate, this data is too much important for you, especially for mains and also for your PT. Multi-statement based question. Multi-statement based question. Given the following, which statements are true related to inflation report of inflation report by CSO? First one, the estimated data provided by CSO in 2021, the rate of CPI is 5.5%, but it increases to 7%. So this one is wrong because of this is increases 5.5% to 6.8%. This is the right statement. So this type of question is too much tough for especially database question, 4.5%, 6.2%, too much tough for learn this type of content. Now, what about the wholesale price index? The wholesale price index, which one shows that 2019-20 is 1.7% and directly comparison to 2020-23 is 11.5%. What's the major difference from 1.7% to 11.5%? This one is the wholesale price index data report according to CSO, 1.7% to 11.5%. Okay, clear? What the actual data provided by in economic survey report by finance ministry, especially CPI and WPI. Okay, clear? What the meaning of CPI? Consumer price index. Doctor, teaching, banking, restaurant, those are the example of services. And services is also included in CPI. Services is also included in CPI. At present, how many number of goods are included in CPI? At present, there are 908. 908 goods are included in CPI and approximate 676 goods are included in WPI. There is a bucket of goods. Actually, what the real meaning of inflation? The price of a single goods increases? No, it's not the inflation. There is a bucket of goods in CPI, 908 goods, in WPI, 676 goods. Okay. Let's see our next topic, foreign exchange reserve. Foreign exchange reserve. In 2019, our reserve, especially in terms of dollar, you know very well, or Indian government make effort to international form to convert rupee as a global currency. That's why, what's the main reason? To minimize the dependency on dollar, because in our current affair class, we already learned that the total invoices of India in terms of export and import, 86% payment is done in form of US dollar. So to minimize the dependency on dollar, Indian government effort to make rupee as a global currency. Okay. So what the difference report according to the economic survey 2019 to 2022 between 2020 to 2013, sorry, 23, 478 billion US dollar in 2019 and 2020 is increases by 563 US dollar in 2022-23. 563. But what's the current today? What's the current foreign exchange reserve? Anyone please tell me what's the current foreign exchange reserve of today? Approximate digit is 575. 575 billion US dollar. 575 billion US dollar. Okay. This data is especially on behalf of December 2022. But 575 billion US dollar is the current forex of India. Okay. This is the good sign for India in terms of payment, especially 86%. I think this one is the major role of US dollar in India invoices in foreign trade, export and import. What the data especially provided by the finance ministry for agriculture and allied activities? Allied means other activities or related activities. The growth rate of gross value added at basic prices in percent in comparison of 1920, 5.5% is decreased to 3.5%. This is a not excellent report or excellent sign in agriculture sector. 5.5% to 3.5% is 22-23. This is not a good sign, especially 3.5% is the data is estimated, especially advanced estimate in form of advance estimate, because of today is 11th of Feb, or current financial year is 2022-2023. So the 3.5 is the advance estimate. Okay, this one comes under advance estimate. The sign of hash indicate the advance estimate. The sign of double star indicate the provisional estimate. Okay, or industrial growth. If we talk about industrial growth, the in comparison of 18-19, where minus 1.4 indicate in terms of percentage gross value report, and in 22-23 it increases to 4.1%. So this is a good indication in terms of industrial growth. And last report 4.5% is the advanced estimate. Don't forget, this one is the advanced estimate. Okay, so economic survey, this one is the common data, especially GDP growth at constant price in percent, where 3.7% in 1920, and expected that in 2023-24 is 6% to 6.8% according to Indian government. But what about the report of IMF, World Bank, or different international organization? IMF, suppose that the expected GDP approximate under 6%. Under 6%. This is not a good sign for India in terms of global economy. IMF estimated under 6%, but Indian government suppose that from 6% to 6.9% we got in financial year 2022 to 2024. This one is the common data or a snapshot of economic survey. Okay, let's see our next slide. Especially our next slide or our upcoming slide is based on PIT, Press India Trust, or we explain all terms in so easy language, but in a snapshot version, means in a little bit view. Especially there is limited time, 1 hour or 90 minutes. That's why we discuss all things, so many things in easy word, but in a short form. Just see our next slide. First of all, according to budget of Indian government, which we present by Nirmala Sitharaman in 1st of Feb 2023, what was the vision? What is the vision? Sorry, what is the vision of budget? Vision especially for Amrit Kal. There is the main 3 vision. The PDF will also provided by management, so don't worry. Okay, don't worry. The vision for Amrit Kal, first one is opportunity for citizen with focus on youth. Opportunity for citizen with focus on youth. Yes, there is a single news nearby month. You know about old pension scheme, new pension scheme. This is the perfect example of opportunities for citizen. Especially this line indicate the old citizen or responsible citizen. Perfect example is old pension scheme. In short, we write down OPS, old pension scheme and new pension scheme. This one is the major issue. So government also allowed to CAG to submit the report on old pension scheme and new pension scheme. So opportunity for citizen with focus on youth. Why for youth? Because we know that youth is the future of India. The future of India is totally based on youth. That's why in case of education sector, in case of new startup, there are so many perfect examples. Government play an excellent role in favor of youth or in focus of youth. Especially there are lots of opportunity, like in case of different short-term investing plan, especially from the Mudra Yojana. It's the main motive of Mudra Yojana to provide the fund to create any startup by youth section or different section or needy person. Okay. Second one is growth and job creation. Growth and job creation. Why this topic, this line comes under vision for Amrit Kal? Because India, you know very well, highest population in the world. Which country? Officially announced, India is at present now highest population in the world. The country is India. So there is also the problem of employment or job creation. Unemployment, sorry. There is also the problem of unemployment. That's why government, this one is the main responsibility of government of job creation. So this one is the vision or long-term vision of Indian government. And second one is growth. Job creation is not the everything, but when we talk about the growth, What the growth of India? Growth related to education, health, or different sector, living standard, or we are talking about the income level, per capita income. There are so many different things. That's why growth is also an important word in long-term vision for Amrit Kal. And point number 3, a strong and stable macroeconomics environment. A strong and stable macroeconomics environment. When we discuss about macro, the term macro, you know very well. In the term macro, CA indicate the aggregate or all. So under macroeconomics environment, there are the major topic about the unemployment, health sector, unemployment sector, and agriculture sector, industrial sector, basic facilities, communication and infrastructure sector. Those are the mainly topic. So government, this one the measure or vision of government to make a strong and a stable macroeconomic environment. These are the main 3 vision of government under the Amrit Kal. Okay. So what are the main 7 priorities? This is also known known as Saptarishi priorities. Which one? First one is reaching the last mile. Reaching the last mile indicate the transportation sector. Transportation sector, especially you know very well about our respected minister Nitin Gadkari, who are the excellent work. What the excellent work in the transport section, quadrilateral. You know about golden quadrilateral and the connectivity. The work with by the BRO, Border Road Organization, is in excellent form. So first thing is reaching the last mile is the main motive under the 7 priorities of government. Second thing is youth power. Youth power. Give an excellent atmosphere. Give an excellent atmosphere related to health, related to social knowledge or responsibility or different sector related to youth. Third one, financial sector. Provide in financial sector. For example, there is a company A which needs some financial assistance, so government always stand. So we will take now how many rupees from the MSMEs, from the direct or indirect scheme. Government always ready to help to provide a financial assistance, especially in financial sector for sick industries. Okay. Next one, green growth is related to the commitment of to minimize the carbon erosion problem. Green growth. Or you know very well what about the work of current government on solar power energy. Solar power energy. You know our totally fuel, especially our energy, especially working criteria on energy is totally convert from different coal or other things to solar power energy. Solar energy. This is the perfect example as per the United Nations agreement signed by government to minimize the coal erosion problem 30 to 35% on from 2030. This one is the commitment given by the current Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in the United Nations meeting. Okay. Next, unleashing the potential. Unleashing the potential is talking about the different sector, different sector. For example, there is a small town you know in the Uttar Pradesh, Bhadohi. The Bhadohi town, especially known for carpet, especially more than country, Italy, France, imported carpet directly from Bhadohi. But I think this sector needs some support by government to improve our potential or utilize our complete potential. So there are so many different examples in India. That's why government ready to unleash the potential of different sector. Next thing is infrastructure and investment. Yes, infrastructure and investment, especially we also facing the maximum top populated country at present in the world. So infrastructure investment attract the foreign investor. First thing is infrastructure. Infrastructure attract the foreign investor in terms of FDI, FII. That's why investment in infrastructure is also the way to create job in India in different sector. Infrastructure investment is a perfect example to fulfill our vision, job creation and growth. Job creation and growth. Last one, inclusive development. What's the meaning of inclusive development? Inclusive development means development in all sector, not only in education sector, not only in health sector, not only in youth sector, not only senior citizen, not only the specific gender-based sector. Inclusive development, including in all sectors. Those are the main 7 priorities of government in our finance, in our budget, 1st of Feb, which one given by the and Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay, clear this slide? Let's see our next slide. First, the main first priority sector is inclusive development. Inclusive development, which we discussed in the last number, 7th number, inclusive development. There is a slogan, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. In English, the means, Sabka means all. That's why I've already told you that inclusive development means development of all sector, development of all sector. Just in agriculture and the agriculture and cooperative. In agriculture sector, government especially targeted to building digital public infrastructure as accessible, inclusive, informative solution for farmers. Why government building digital public infrastructure to accessible or informative solution for farmer? Because of, you know very well, the Indian farming system is totally based on traditional way. Same pattern of farming year on year. That's why government provide, and the motive of government to build a digital public infrastructure. So that's why there is the main problem of farmer is lack of awareness related to technique or different seeds. That's why this is the main reason for inclusive development related to agriculture sector. What's the second point? Second point is setting up agriculture accelerator fund for increasing innovative startup in rural area. We in our upcoming slide, we are talking about what the different types of fund, especially in case of KCC or farmer insurance sector, or so many different types of fund provided by the government into agriculture sector. So setting up agriculture affiliate fund for increasing innovative startup in rural areas. Third one, targeted funding, approximate how much target? Please don't forget this. How much? 20 lakh crore agriculture credit targeted at animal husbandry. 20 lakh crore agricultural credit targeted at animal husbandry, dairy and fisheries sector. 20 lakh crore. What's the great thing? 20 lakh crore. According to condition, I think this is a sufficient fund for animal husbandry, dairy and fisheries sector. Fisheries sector, you know about fisheries sector? Talking about the fish. Okay. Next, horticulture clean plant program to be launched. Horticulture clean plant program to be launched to boost the production of high value of horticulture crops. This one is a common sentence. Making India global hub for millets. Yes, making India global hub for millets. Especially there is a program known as Shri Ann. Shri Ann related to food grain sector, especially related to food grain sector. So making in India global hub for millets, support to be given to IIMR, who is responsible to fulfill this target or give a graph or roadmap. IIMR Hyderabad for promoting research. IIMR Hyderabad for promoting this research. IIMR Hyderabad. Especially support to be given to IIMR Hyderabad to promoting research in the same sector to global hub, to make India as a global hub for millets, in the case of millets, under the Shri Ann Yojana. What's the next thing? Setting up of widely available storage capacity. Here we are talking about warehousing. Our government also plan to establish warehouse nearby block wise, different block wise or beer wise. This is also the upcoming plan of government. Why? To setting up the available of storage. Why? Will enhance farmers to remuneration by enabling sale at appropriate time. There is the major issue of warehousing. That's why the government is setting up a widely available storage capacity. This one is the effort of government for agriculture sector and cooperative sector. Just see in the graph what the credit shows comparison to previous year. In short, the credit limit of government in terms of lakh crore in a financial year 15, there is a 85 lakh crore. In financial year 15, 85 lakh crore, and in financial year 2022, 196 lakh crore. In financial year 15, there is a 85 lakh crore, and in 23 is 196 crore. This is a sufficient amount of what the great effort of government to improve the efficiency of agriculture sector. This one is the perfect example of inclusive growth. Okay. Just see the next slide. In health section, inclusive growth topic, 157 new nursing college. First one, just 157 new nursing college. This data especially is too much helpful for your statement-based question. Sickle cell anemia elimination mission to be launched. Sickle cell anemia mission to be launched, especially to the 2025, targeted to 2025. Next, new program to promote research in pharmaceuticals to launched. This one is the homework, or this one is the upcoming responsibility of government in which we case in case of COVID-19. You just see what the preparation of Indian medical or health section in case of COVID-19 first wave and second wave. That's why this one is the homework of Indian government, especially in health section. Joint public and private medical research to be increased via select ICMR labs. Also related to ICMR, and there is also example of Sanjeevani Yojana. Sanjeevani Yojana, which we discussed in our last current affair class, that government used to different fractional route of fractional services, just like different helicopter services under the HAMS scheme, to fulfill or make a strong connectivity between hill area public and to Rishikesh aims, make a connectivity more strong. So this one is also the example, joint public and private medical researches to be increased via ICMR labs. Increase in expenditure on health and education in terms of percentage of GDP. Just see in health section, where is 1.4% increase to 2.1%, in education 2.8% increase to 2.9% in comparison of 1890 to 23. 1890 to 23 in health section, 1.4% to 2.1% due to COVID impact, and 2.8% to 2.9% education sector. Okay, education and skilling, revamp the teaching training and provided district institute educational and training, especially for those teachers which are related to rural areas and they never face any kind of excellent teaching atmosphere. Government provide revamped teachers training via district institute of education and training program. Second one, national digital library to be set up for children and adolescents. National Digital Library. This is a great effort which improve or increase the learning capacity of a student, especially for teenagers, I think 14, 15, 16 years old students. This is a great effort provided by government. States will increase to set up physical laboratories at panchayat and ward level. What excellent effort. Library on panchayat level. I think this is the especially dream of Mahatma Gandhi. What the dream of Mahatma Gandhi according to Article 40? Dream development of panchayat, development of villages area, development of rural area according to Gandhi plan. We know about the Shriman Narayan plan of Gandhi. The dream of Gandhi is development of rural area and village area. This is the perfect effort or to fulfill the dream of our Gandhi is to maintain the library at panchayat level and ward level. What the great effort of current government. Okay. Now, just let's see the next slide. The big tent that accommodates to all. This is not related to a specific sector. This is the common problem. That's why government fulfill by our hand. First one is 9 crore drinking water connection to rural houses. 9 crore drinking water connection to rural houses. First thing, 9 crore. Second thing, cash transfer to 2.2 lakh crore over 11.4 crore for farmer under the PM Kisan, Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme. This one is the types of financial assistance which we discussed in our next previous slide. PM Kisan scheme 2.2 crore is directly transfer. I think so many women or farmer or so many your family in your village will receive with the 2000 rupees monthly installment from 2000 rupees. Okay. Next, insurance cover for 44.6 crore person under the PMSBI and PM Jeevan Jyoti scheme. Insurance cover 44.6. So please, this is your duty also. This is your duty also. First of all, please learn or cover the static data, main data related to a scheme of our current year budget. First one, PMJJY scheme, PMSBI scheme, PM Kisan scheme, or so many different schemes. Ujjwala scheme, please cover the static based data. The scheme started from which year, what the main objective of a scheme, which one the first city of starting the scheme. So this one the main static based data. Please cover. This one is homework for you. Okay. Next, 11.7 crore household toilets constructed under SBM. Under SBM, especially in rural area, approximate 1.5 lakh, 1.5 lakh or 1 lakh rupees something amount provided by the government or in related to block area to fulfill the household toilet facility for to complete the sustainable development growth goals number 4, drinking water. Goal number 5, drinking clean water facility, available of clean water facility and sanitation, to fulfill the sanitation facility. This is the perfect example. 11.7 crore household toilets constructed under SBM scheme. 9.6 crore LPG connection under Ujjwala Yojana. 9.6 crore LPG connection under Ujjwala Yojana. This is the perfect example of SDG goal for good health and also good life. Good life. This is the example of good life. 220 crore COVID vaccine for 1.02 crore person. 220 crore vaccine for 1.02 crore person related to health section, and 47.8 crore PM Jan Dhan bank account directly transferred. 47.8 crore. 47.8 crore, especially for weaker section, especially for undergoing sector unemployment. 47.8 crore for PM Jan Dhan. You know about there is a certain amount, 5,000 rupees in the starting amount provided by the government in Jan Dhan account, 5,000 rupees. This is the initial amount provided by government at the time of opening Jan Dhan account. Okay. So currently what the estimated target? 47.8 crore rupees. Let's see what the graph provided by Indian Finance Ministry in urban unemployment rate at 4 year. Urban unemployment rate at 4 year. So in especially 20.9%, the high level of unemployment duration is so between the COVID. This one is the first wave of COVID. The high, the upward graph shows that this one is the especially year or time between the COVID, 20.9%. From where? From 9% to 20.9%. July 19 to this one the June 90, September 90 to between the June 21. This graph shows the especially impact of COVID in our employment section. Okay. And from second wave also there is some upward condition in graph. But then after second wave in December 21, March 22, 23, September 21, this was the last data, 7.2%. So this is the perfect example that shows that the unemployment rate is regularly decreases from 29% at the time of COVID to between approximate 14 to 13% in June 21, and last update data September 2022 is 7.5%. This is the good sign for an economy, especially in case of unemployment rate. Okay, growth remains resilient. What about this content? देखिए especially rewards the comparison between real GDP and financial year 20 level. Real GDP talking about the previous one or two or a fixed times of GDP. In comparison, in estimated, just see financial year 20 and comparison of financial year 23. This one is the advanced estimated, approximate more than 150, approximate more than 150, or in percent of approximate more than 11%, more than 11%. But this indicate the real GDP or as advanced estimate data. Please not make your dependency maximum on these type of content, especially advanced estimate data. Maximum your statement based question are on fixed value or certified value. Advanced estimate data, especially there are so many different reasons. There is a possibility of government to change our certain target. There is a possibility by government. Okay. So what the main important thing in this slide? 9 crore drinking water, 2.2 lakh crore something cash transfer directly, 4.6 crore insurance cover, especially insurance cover for different farmer cases, and 11.7 crore for household, especially toilet, 9.6 crore LPG connection, 2.20 COVID vaccine, 47.8 crore especially for Jan Dhan scheme directly provided. Just see whatever in the next slide. Reaching last mile, Pradhan Mantri PVTG development mission to be launched. What's the meaning of PVTG? Particularly, write down, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Particularly vulnerability of tribal groups. Especially this effort targeted the tribals which are facing too much problem in our basic facilities to fulfill our basic facilities. Okay. That's why government provide financial assistance or targeted approximate in our financial year 2023-2024, government provide assistance approx 15,000 crore rupees for upcoming 3 years under the PVTG scheme. Write down 15,000 crore rupees under the PM, particularly vulnerable tribals group. 15,000 crore rupees for upcoming 3 years. Okay, to fulfill the basic problem, of tribals. What's the second sentence? Financial assistance to be given for sustainable micro irrigation in drought prone area, especially Karnataka. Approximate to fulfill the drought prone area of region of Karnataka, government directly provide approximate 320 crore rupees directly to state government. More teachers to be recruited for 740 Eklavya model residential school. So this one is the perfect indication for upcoming vacancy in different teaching department. Upcoming vacancy for different teaching department, approximate 740 Eklavya residential school to fulfill the job creation vision under the Amrit Kal. Okay. Next, Bharat Shri to be set up the digitization of ancient inscriptions. What the full form of Shri? School for Rising India. School for Rising India to be set up for the digitization of ancient inscriptions. This is the perfect effort of government. Both are the perfect effort of government in education sector. Okay, what about infrastructure and investment? There is the multiple impact. First one, incentive to boost investment in infrastructure and productive capacity. Why? To rise in growth and employment. Incentives to boost investment in infrastructure and productivity capacity. What the incentive? To provide financial assistance directly or indirectly. Okay. To giving a relaxation in terms of duty scrip, in terms of discount, in terms of taxes. Okay. That's why there is a multiple impact. First one is rise in growth and employment. And you know very well about SAIS, Special Economic Zone, is a perfect example. Why government create a special economic zone? To increase the level of employment. That's why government allow for SAIS, Special Economic Zone. So under the infrastructure and investment scheme, There is the first target, increase capital investment outlay by 33.4% to 10 lakh crore. 10 lakh crore. This one is important line under the infrastructure investment, please. If you have a Xerox of same content, so please underline or tick this line. Increase capital investment outlay by 33.4% to 10 lakh crore. To 10 lakh crore. For to improve the condition of especially infrastructure. Second thing, continuation of 50-year interest-free loan for state. Continuation means this decision totally in form of retain. 50-year free, it means no any single interest. Government provide directly financial assistance in terms of loan, which one is totally interest free, which one is totally interest free. Okay. So the third thing, highest ever capital outlay, 2.4 lakh to railway. Yes. 2.4 lakh crore. This is the highest outlay, first time. Or you also observe what the performance of railway. You know very well about Vande Bharat train and different train and or our upcoming train Vande Bharat, bullet train project. So I think rail facility improving day by day. Or this was the perfect example, 2.4 lakh crore provided by the Indian government, or this is the first time and the highest outlay for Indian Railway. Okay. 100 transport infrastructure project identified for end-to-end connectivity for ports, coal, steel, fertilizer sector. In our last current affair class, we are also discussed on draft coal logistic policy. Draft coal logistic policy. You know about draft coal logistic policy, especially the draft coal logistic policy is the definition, is the terms which define that the transportation of coal from origin to destination. So government provides so many different schemes. First thing is PM Gati Shakti scheme, which is also helpful for connectivity. Or this is the perfect example, 100 transport infrastructure project to fulfill the or make easy the transportation of coal, steel, fertilizer, or different thing. Approximate 6,000 crore rupees subsidy given by government in fertilizer transportation. No, not only 6,000. It's the 60,000 crore rupees in fertilizer transportation. Approximate 1.75 lakh crore subsidies given by government directly subsidies. And today, including transportation or direct, total 2.5 lakh crore rupees in form of subsidy government provided to farmer to fulfill the fertilizer need. Okay, clear? Last, creating urban infrastructure in tier 2 and tier 3 cities via establishing of UIDF. This is not so important for you, but in this PDF, first thing is what is PVTG? What's the main basic of PVTG? This one is your homework. Second, what the Shri scheme? Please, Shri scheme. Third thing is what about the outlay of 33.4? What the main purpose? What the main scheme to revise, especially increase capital investment? What the main motive of government? And last thing is logistic policy or make a strong connectivity, handled infrastructure. You know, government also announces 50 new airport to make 50 new airport in India. This is also the announcement of Finance Ministry in this upcoming financial year budget. Let's see our next slide. Fast. Unleashing for potential trust-based government. There is a measure, expected outcome. In one hand, measure and expected outcome. First measure, make AI in India. 3 specialized AI center to be set up in education institute. How many? 3 AI center. This is important for you. 3 AI center established. But what the expected outcome? AI-based solution in agriculture, health, and sustainable cities provide sufficient data, or also help to make policy, also help to make a budget for upcoming year. This is a perfect effort of government. Second one, national data governance policy to be introduced. National data governance policy to be introduced. What the main expected outcome? Enable access to anonymized data for research by startup and academia. So national data governance provide help or support for any new startup. For example, I make a decision to start a new shop or new business which is depend on related to fisheries, but I have no sufficient data. The national data governance policy is held for those entrepreneurs, for those persons to enable access the data for research by startup and academia. Because of the to flop of any, in case of any new startup are going to in condition of flop, especially going to in condition of too heavy loss. What's the main reason? Main reason, lack of accurate data. Lack of accurate data. Lack of accurate data. Next, Vivad se Vishwas, especially translated to income tax also. Vivad se Vishwas, less stringent contrast exclusion of MSMEs. First one. Second one, easier standardized settlement. This is the Vivad se Vishwas second. Third one, phase 3 for e-code to be launched. What the main expected outcome? In terms of MSMEs, relief to MSMEs affected during the COVID period. You know, at the time of booster dose, June 2020, our respected president provided 20 lakh crore booster dose of 20 lakh crore. Under 20 lakh crore, directly provide 50k crore for MSMEs. 50k crore for MSMEs. Okay. Booster dose 2020. Next, Vivad se Vishwas, easier and standardized settlement scheme, faster settlement, contractual dispute of government and government undertaking. There are so many different disputes. That's why government make a second option, Vivad se Vishwas, to make a settlement scheme between any government disputes, between government to any party, any firm, any person, or government to any different state government. Last one, e-code to be launched to make effective administration for justice. I think this is a great effort because of there is a common sentence in India, Tariq pe Tariq, Tariq pe Tariq, Tariq pe Tariq. Famous statement given by Sunny Deol. So that's why government affected the, oh, what's the meaning of Tariq pe Tariq? I think this is a negative sentence for code. That's why government provide e-code facility. Just joking. Government provide e-code facility to be launched effective administration for justice. I think this is a good effort. Good effort. Next, entity DigiLocker to be set up for by business entrepreneurs and charitable trust. What the main measure to outcome? Facilitating, securing, online storing and sharing documents with the business ecosystem. Yes, you know very well. What about the security of your data? There are one thing. Sundar Pichai. Also, their US court provided the summon for Sundar Pichai in case of security of data at the time of when he's CEO of Google. Okay. At present, he's also the CEO of Alphabet. So, entity Data Locker provided the security, especially in case of sharing document with the business ecosystem. Okay, this is also the excellent effort. Setting up 100 lab for 5G services based on applicant application. 100 lab in multi-statement based question. This line is too much important for you. How many lab? 100 lab. For why? For 5G based services. 100 lab for 5G based services to tap employment and potential business opportunity. To tap employment and potential based opportunity, especially business forward, because 90% businesses depend on connectivity, depend on this communication services. If there is a bad or a lack of blockage of communication services, so maximum business are affected. And I suppose there is lakhs in terms of lakhs or crore loss which are facing by Indian industries, especially in different MNCs. R&D grant for lab grown diamonds, especially what about diamond sector, to reduce the import dependency by increasing domestic production. Yes. Which city is the topmost city or famous city for diamond or for gold in the world? Next question. The right answer is this: Johannesburg. For gold, Johannesburg of South Africa. But previous 7 to 8 to 10 years, the maximum gold production based country in top rank is China. Okay, in India, there is a famous location, Surat for diamond, and so many different locations. Just we see fast what's in our next slide. Financial sector, please. Just focus on important thing. What's important thing? First one in this slide, first one, this thing. Credit guarantee scheme for MSMEs. Circle now, credit guarantee scheme for MSMEs. How much rupees? Guarantee for credit of 2 lakh crore. Expanded corpus under a revamped scheme to enable additional collateral fee, guaranteed credit for 2 lakh crore rupees. This statement too much important for you. हाँ, महिला सम्मान बचत पत्र, महिला सम्मान बचत पत्र, a one-time new small saving scheme for 2-year period, which provide a deposit facility of up to 2 lakh rupees. This statement is important. Up to 2 lakh rupees for upcoming 2 years. Okay. Benefit for senior citizen. How much? The enhanced maximum deposit limit for senior citizen saving schemes from 15 lakh to 30 lakh rupees. Just double. Just double. Just double. Other limitation is not important line for you as per your PT exam, but Mahila Samman Patra, benefits of our citizen and credit guarantee scheme. These three information is too much important for you. What about fiscal management? Just a minute. What about fiscal management? 50 years of interest-free loan for state. 50 years. Continue in the continuation of same statement. 50 years interest-free loan. About fiscal management, government provide financial assistance in terms of loan. Second thing, fiscal deficit, 3.5% of GSDP allowed for state, 0.5% had the power of sector. Why? Why there is a word use allow for state? Because of according to, you know very well, according to FRBMA 203, what the maximum limit, ideal limit of fiscal deficit is 3% of GDP, 3% of GDP. But government, central government allows for state what? Fiscal deficit of 3.5%. 3.5%, 0.5% tied to power sector reforms. Government allow to wear, yes, okay, I'm allowing you to wear more than 0.5% deficit, but in especially for which sector? Especially for power sector reforms. Power sector reforms. Okay. So next digit, next information, fiscal consolidation targeted to fiscal deficit to be below 4.5% 2025. This statement not important for you. Maximum don't follow the advanced estimate data, especially approximate 25, 26, 4.5%, 4.6%. This is the long-term vision. What about the nearby? 3.5% government allow, especially 0.5% government allow to state to expand in the case of power reform. This was the important line for you. Okay. Just see in this slide. First one, credit guarantee scheme. Second one, Mahila Samman Bachat scheme. Third one, benefit for senior citizen. And last one is fiscal deficit, 3.5%. Okay, clear? What about the next line? Next slide. Rupee comes from where and rupee goes from where? In short, from borrowing and liabilities. How much? 34% from borrowing and liabilities, 34%. From non-tax receipts, how much? Approximate 6%. Non-debt capital receipts, approximate 2%. From custom, 4%. From goods and services tax, GST, approximate 17%. Corporation tax, 15%. Union excise, 3. Income tax, 15%. Income tax, 15%. Non-tax receipts. What is the non-tax receipt? Especially in total income of India, first one is revenue receipt, second one is capital receipt. Revenue receipt are divided, especially divided into two parts. First one is taxable, second one is non-taxable. Taxable in terms of direct tax and indirect tax, non-taxable in terms of fees, fine, grants, and so many other things. Okay. Total income is divided into two parts, revenue receipts and capital receipts. Revenue receipts also divided into two parts, direct taxable and non-taxable. Taxable means direct tax or indirect tax. Non-taxable just like a fees, fine, and grants received from different country. Okay. So this one the non-taxable receipts. Non-taxable receipts from different vehicle challan, different penalty fees, 6%. Clear? What's the meaning of non-taxable receipts? 6%. Next, where rupee goes to, just compare interest payment. What's the major issue? 20% of total revenue, total income will go to interest payment from different organization, just like a World Bank or different organization, international level. 20%. It means in 100 rupees, 20 rupees will goes to interest payment. I think that's not good for India. 20 rupees directly goes to interest payment. Next, centrally sponsored scheme, how much? Approximate 9%. Subsidies, 3%. Defense category, 8%. Okay. Central sector scheme, approximate 17%. 9%, especially finance commissions and other transfer. State share and taxes and duties, 18%. Other expenditure, approximate 13 point something percent. Pension especially, this was the major topic. Old pension scheme, new pension scheme. Government planning to continue with old pension scheme. Old pension scheme in place of new pension scheme. I think this create approximate more than 5.5 lakh crore burden per year on Indian government. Approximate. If government follow old pension scheme, there is approximate 5.5 lakh crore rupees burden on Indian treasury. Okay. So pension, there is a part of pension is 4%. Just compare the same thing from comes and from the goes to first thing. Approximate borrowing, how much borrowing? 34. Directly for payment, 20 rupees. We receive 34 from borrowing other liabilities and payment for 20 rupees in terms of interest payment. That's not good. In a single word, 34 रुपीज उधार लेकर के 20 रुपए किसी का ब्याज दे रहे हो, ये बहुत गलत है, ये बहुत गलत है. Being a responsible citizen of India, this is our duty to minimize the liability of interest payment. Interest payment is an example of revenue expenditure. There are mainly two types of expenditure. First thing is revenue expenditure. Second thing is capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure, what the meaning of revenue expenditure? We also learn same topic in the fiscal policy of India topic. Revenue expenditure, where any expenses of government which increase the financial liabilities and decrease the assets creation possibility. What is the meaning of revenue expenditure? Which increase the financial liabilities and decrease the asset creation possibility. So interest payment increase the financial liability. Salary, financial liability. Pension is the financial liability. Subsidy is the financial liability. So what about financial liability? 20%. 20% of interest payment, 3% subsidy, 4% pension. This is the directly 24 plus 3, 27% approximate financial liabilities. Or there are also so many different example of revenue expenditure which we indirectly central based sector scheme or center sponsor scheme. Okay. So approximate minimum directly we see that 27% financial liability. Okay. This is not a good for India because of total borrowing and liability is 34%. In borrowing and liability directly government provide 4%, 3% in form of subsidy, 4% in form of pension. So this is the responsibility as an ideal citizen of India. Please leave subsidy for few years. Please leave subsidy for few years. Please leave to face the problem of interest payment, which provides support or help for Indian government. Please leave the matter of old pension scheme for few years, which is the approximate 4% burden of Indian budget, 4% in total income of India. Okay, that's not good. Second thing, what the meaning of capital expenditure? Where financial liability decreases and asset creation possibility increases. Like government make a new dam. So dam is a perfect example of asset creation possibility. Okay. Government return a principal amount. For example, there is an amount of 100 rupees. Government return the principal amount 100 rupees for IMF. If government return the loan amount of total 100 rupees to return the IMF, then there is the financial liability to pay the interest payment is reduces against the 100 rupees every year, right? For example, there is a 10% interest rate. So again, the principal amount 100 rupees. 10 rupees is the financial liability to pay for IMF. So when government take a decision to return the complete amount of IMF, so government also reduce our financial liability. So just see the major difference. A return payment of interest comes under revenue expenditure. A return of principal amount comes under capital expenditure. Why? The return of principal amount reduce the financial liability. Clear? Just see our next slide. Allocation for a specific minister. Ministry of Defense directly 5.94 in the last year, 5.30 increases 5.94 lakh crore. Ministry for Road and Transportation. This one is the main priority. According to this allocation, just see in terms of lakh crore, the biggest biggest budget is 5.94 crore in defense sector. Security is the main priority. Second is infrastructure, road transportation. How much? 2.7 lakh crore. Ministry of Railways also comes under transportation. How much? 2.41 lakh crore. Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and especially for good health and public distribution, 2.06 lakh crore. Ministry of Home Affairs, 1.96 lakh crore. So according to government priorities, security is in number one, transportation number two, infrastructure in number two, food security and public distribution number three. Okay, home affairs is the other part of priority base of government. Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers, especially for farmer, approximate 1.78 lakh crore. Ministry of Rural Development, 1.60 lakh crore. Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, 1.25 lakh crore. Ministry of Communication, 1.23 related to tri or different communication sector. Okay. Sorry. So the priority of government is especially security. This slide shows the what the priority of government. Approximate 5.9 lakh crore. If I remember that 2017, the total budget on defense government is approximate 3 lakh crore. From 4 to 5 years, the budget, especially on defense, is going to just in double form, approximate from 3 lakh to from approximate 6 lakh crore. 5.94 means approximate 6 lakh crore. Okay. Just see 5 minutes on economic survey in our upcoming slide. Wait, those are also the major schemes. First one is informal critical 22-23 from 100 to 1250. Okay, this data is totally based on learning, especially Jal Jeevan Mission from 20 to 60 to 70 in upcoming financial year. Eklavya model 2000 to 5943. Number of especially school Eklavya model from 2000 to 5943. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, especially 48 to 79590. 79590. Approximate just double. Next, this is also the slogan of our Prime Minister. हर व्यक्ति का घर होगा. 48,000 to 79590. Okay. A scheme for faster adoption, especially manufacturing and EVs, 22,908,259. Just approximate double form, 80 to 90% increases. Northeast special infrastructure development, especially targeted to Assam and different road connectivity. You know also about the collapse of China in Arunachal Pradesh. That's why government also focus on Northeast Special Infrastructure Development Program from 1419 to 2491. I think this is the excellent budget for upcoming long-term vision for Amrit Kal scheme under the. What about the economic survey? Just see in our next slide. Just a minute. Service sector growth for as per data of economic survey. In comparison of 2019, we are 6.3%. Directly we compare to 2022-23 is 9.1%. Please This line is too much important for you in major form. Service sector growth in terms of GVA, gross value added, from 1926.3. Just see the impact of COVID. Impact of COVID, minus 7.8%. Minus 7.8%. Or just see what the recovery from the minus 7.8% to plus 8.4%. Approximate how much? Approximate 15%. What the excellent recovery, minus 7.8 to plus 8.4%. And now 22-23, different data, 9.1% as per economic survey of finance ministry. Just see our next slide. GDP growth in 2019 were 3.7%, in the impact of COVID-19 minus 6.6%, and now approximate for upcoming financial year estimated that 6% to 6.8%. 6% to 6.8%. I think this is not good in comparison of previous year or previous year. Just see 21-22, 8.7%. Just after the COVID criteria, especially the COVID scene, minus 6.6 and plus 8.7. What the great effort or great return, क्या गजब back किया है इंडिया ने. And in 2023-24, 6% to 6.8%. Next, on economic survey 23, in this slide, what the important data for you directly, this sentence: national monetization pipeline with 90 lakh crore investment potential. National monetization pipeline, how much? 9 lakh crore rupees investment pollution. And in same slide, capacity of major port nearly double in 8 years. Capacity of major airport doubled in 8 years. Next one in this slide, just see UPI touches the highest even mark. This is the achievement. This line is not important for you. In this slide, first one is national monetization pipeline with 9 lakh crore rupees investment, and second one, capacity of major port nearly doubled for 8 years. This is the main important line for you in this slide. What about next slide? Yes, inflation rate. Just see, in terms of CPI, I think this slide also discussed in previous slide, in the first slide, in the common form of survey. From the 1.7% WPI limit to 11.1%, and from 4.8 to CPI goes to 6.8% in 2022-2023. This data already discussed by. Next, social infrastructure and employment big tent. Social infrastructure and employment big tent in this slide. First important line for you: over 14,500 PM Shri school to be built between financial year 23-27. This one is the important line for you. Important line for you. Second one is, this is a common statement. Urban employment is a common statement. EPFO based net payroll on rises 105.4 lakh in financial year 23. This is also the important line for you. Enhance government expenditure. What the main motive of government? The motive of government is for better quality of life. And better quality of life is also the main motive of sustainable development goal. To improve the quality of life, in our first slide. Okay, just see two important sentence: 14,500 PMC school and improve the payroll, especially 105.4 lakh crore. What about in our next slide? Industry and steady recovery. First thing is GVA of industrial sector rose 3.7% in the first half in financial year 22-23. Okay, our other sentences: credit to MSMEs has grown to 30% since Jan 2022. Increase in 30%. Otherwise, those are the common sentence, but this sentence too much important for you. How much percent? Credit of MSMEs has grown by approximate 30% since 2022 Jan. Okay, this sentence important for you. 3.7% for the first half of FY 22-23. What about fiscal deficit? We have already discussed about it. Fiscal deficit in comparison of 19-20 were 4.4%, and in 22-23 6.4%. Please tell me about the upcoming financial year. Expected fiscal deficit is from 6% to 6.8%. 6% to 6.8%. Next, Fiscal development revenue relish. This is the expectation of government. Which one? First one is sustained revenue buoyancy over last 2 years. And which one is the important sentence in this PDF? This one, modest growth in debt to GDP for India relative peers. India relative peers. But I think maximum content in this slide is a common language. That's why the data which is fully based on same sentence or same quality. These types of sentences, especially this is not depend on any informative data. This is just a common statement related to fiscal development revenue. So please don't learn or focus on this type of statement. Just see our next slide. Foreign exchange reserve from 1920 were 478 to current 22-23 563, and our today foreign exchange reserve approximate 575 something billion US dollar. Okay. Finally, external sector watchful and hopeful. External sector, when we discuss about external sector, we are talking about export and import. So merchandise export, there is a two scheme work under the foreign trade. First one is merchandise export from India scheme. Second one is service export from India scheme. Merchandise export from India scheme, service export from India scheme. Merchandise export in terms of US dollar 332.8 billion for April December 22, exhibiting a growth 16% from December 21. This is important data for you. Or no, India is the 7th largest service exporter in the world. Important line. India is the 7th largest service exporter in the world. Under the service export from India scheme, 7th largest service exporter in the world. This is important line for you. Largest recipient of remittances in world in 2022. Estimated by World Bank. The remittances means from other country. Largest remittances, especially received by India. This is the good sign for especially external sector policy, external sector scheme for India. In terms of foreign trade policy, it's totally regulated by DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade. There is also so many different types of tariff. Just like a duty script is a tariff which provide just like a discount in the value of export to any exporter, but not in case of export. Tariff provided on the base of export, but same amount is utilized in case of import. Okay. अगर आपने कुछ एक्सपोर्ट किया, एक्सपोर्ट पे आपको डिस्काउंट मिलता है, बट उसका यूटिलाइजेशन इंपोर्ट में होगा, एक्सपोर्ट में नहीं होगा. According to DGFT. Those are the main two schemes. Merchandise export from India scheme, service export from India scheme. So just see in our next slide, in the last slide, those are the main reason to fulfill, especially in global form, especially for India. No poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality. Those are the main 17 reasons. That's why India focus to make our vision long term of what the name of vision Amrit Kal, vision of Amrit Kal, especially 7 priority based sector. Okay. So if you have any question, query related class, please tell me. Otherwise, this is your fully tight or packed session on budget on the data of Press Trust of India. Press Trust of India. Is there any question related to budget or any confusion on any word related to fiscal deficit, revenue, or any in terms, please discuss with me. Anyone?
Sir,
Yes. Am I audible?
Hello, sir. Yes, you are audible. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. I need to ask that the budget estimates, how relevant are they from the point of view of substantiation? Can we use these data or should we skip these data?
No. Sure. Especially this data already provided by the government, right?
Yes, sir.
So please don't deny this data. our preparation, our observation, our way of study related to budget is totally based on this data. But please also connect with your newspaper or your current government decision. Okay, also connect with, but your preparation is totally based on this data. This data. For
Sir,
example, just a
the
minute.
estimated budgets or the established budgets, which data should be focused
Especially
more?
if you want to cover the accuracy of estimated budget, so please you should also connect with a current affair or different channel or different news of government. For example, the decision of demonetization in 8th of November 2016. याद है 8th of November 2016, the decision of demonetization is the at sudden taking decision. It is not there is no any single explanation of demonetization, no any single sign of demonetization in at the current financial year. So there are lots of different decisions also impact the estimated target of government. Lots of different decisions. Like perfect example, Russia-Ukraine war, India external policy, India internal policy. There are so many different reasons which are impact directly or indirectly our estimated target. For example, our estimated target. For example, our estimated target of growth rate, देखिए, just achieve 3.7 here, but we can't suppose that minus 6.6% in minus 6.6% in 2021-22. Minus 6.6% due to COVID impact. So our preparation on estimation, especially there is a little bit confusion in 2 or 3 sentences where I say, please skip this sentence, right? In 2 or 3 places where I say, please skip this condition. But this is related to sector or topic. The topic related to which sector? This sector is important for you or not? This sector is important for you or not, especially priority ways. That's why we have already the lots of syllabus in UPSC CSE. That's why please go through the smart study way. Don't cover the all thing, just cover the important thing. Just cover the important thing. Okay?
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Or anyone? Okay, so thank you so much. This is your class. Your class now over. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.